and welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. We are the Odd Pod. What's going on? My name's Stacey Kruger. Who are you boys?
I am casually challenged.
And I'm Robbie.
Our short list of hosts today, holy shit. We're without Rad. Hey guys, Rad's not here today. And Quantum, no big surprise there. It's legit.
Oh, hey, look, it's the hosts that were going to be on this podcast when you first pitched it to me.
Right? Yeah, that's before Quantum and Rad were brought in, huh? I just thought of this.
Rad was brought in for one thing that he didn't do for, 2 podcasts, and then he stuck around.
Yeah, he originally was here for the Sega review. He wanted to do a full history of what happened to Sega, why it turned to shit. And then, it just kind of turned into, hey, Rad, you going to stick around? You did great. You want to stick around? I don't know, man. It was a lot of fun. And then he decided, desert us for a podcast. Actually, you know what? Everybody's missed at least one podcast now. Because I think Rad was the only one who hadn't missed one, right?
I don't know. I know technically I've missed more than one, but we just didn't do one. Or you guys didn't do one those times.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think everyone has now.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I think this is the height of our professionalism. We can't reach over this crest. We should just drop the podcasting gauntlet right now and just walk away. What do you say? Especially since we've hit episode 30.
Oh, God.
30? We've done 30 of these things?
Right, dude? That's what I was thinking. Like, how the fuck have we done 30 of these things now?
So this is what it feels like to be old.
Casual. Grab my cane. Bring it to me. Bring yours with. We'll beat the shit out of the young in here.
Oh, yes, Daddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might like that.
But yes, so I did it, guys. I did a thing. I finally did a thing. Do you know what
Stacey, you have a court order not to do that again.
Oh, well, sometimes you have to do the thing. No, I finally did a thing. I finally went and watched John Wick, like I was ordered to by Casual for close to a month and a half now. Shit.
Well,
close to 2 months.
I mean, not ordered, but it's
bitch,
a good
please.
movie.
Dude, you were basically going, Stacey, if you don't watch this, I will kill you.
I did not. All I did was say, have you seen John Wick yet? 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 Until I beat you into submission.
Yeah. Well,
it only took 3 months or something?
About that, yeah. I went over to my cousin's house, which I'm moving in there soon. He's buying the house, and I'll be taking the lower apartment. And I went over to hang out with him for a little bit and do some laundry at his place because fucking free laundry. Well, free for me. He had to pay for electricity and water. But hey, you know what? We'll worry about those technicalities later. So I was sitting there BSing with him. He's like, hey, do you want to watch John Wick? I'm like, you know what? I'm over here for once. Let's fucking do it. I can at least get Casual to shut up. And this is when he starts to laugh because he's heard you in chat, my own chat on stream. Like, have you watched John Wick yet, Stacey? So
I've only said it for, I've even said it not as much on the on the pre-show before the podcast actually starts, but I've even said it a couple of times in your streaming chat.
A couple? A couple?
Only a couple.
You fucker. But yes, I finally watched it. It's it's an interesting movie. I almost cried. I almost bawled my eyes out. And I'm guessing you'll know which part I'm talking about, Casual. Knowing what kind of person I am.
I mean, come on. That's the point of how the movie starts.
You open up, and it opens up with... by the way, spoilers, everyone. Let's just get it out of the way. Stacey saw a movie. I have to jabber about it.
And if you haven't seen John Wick by now, stop. Why are you listening to this podcast? Stop it. Go watch John Wick.
It's a fantastic flick, guys. You know how much I hate movies. Well, okay, it's not that I hate movies. It's just how much I detest, mediocre movies. This was not a mediocre flick. The old lady dying at first got me a little. I was like, oh, poor guy. And then the dog showing up. What's up?
If we're going spoilers, we might want to
What's what I just
clarify one thing. You said old lady. He means John's wife.
Well, to me, that's the old lady. It's her wife.
Right, but I'm just saying some people might not be familiar with that particular term.
Very true.
For some reason, I just imagined him married to an old lady.
John!
No, she's
Call me Martha.
I don't remember who the actress is, but she's been in a lot of movies. She usually plays more dramatic roles, which, honestly, even though she's barely there, it's another dramatic role for her.
I didn't even see her face. I didn't even realize. They could have had a mannequin standing there with the voiceover, and it would have been just as much of an impact. She played such a little role in this movie; it was pathetic.
Oh yeah, she's in there for 5 minutes.
She
maybe.
legit is a corpse. She's laying there on the hospital bed, dying. She turns into a corpse because that flatlines, and then you see her on a phone. That's it in the entire movie. That's all you get from her. And I was like, well, that's something. But yeah, so old lady dies, which is sad as it is. And then the dog. Oh my God. Dog shows up. He pulls out the card and he sees the card with a stamp on it and starts weeping. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, so you're a little out of sequence.
It's the same thing. I mean, it's close enough.
Okay, so the setup for John Wick is there's a few movies, and Pixar is really famous for this now, that they start sad and then they go from there. Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of messed up in that way. What's his face? Peter Quill's mother dies of cancer, and then he gets abducted by space aliens. Now, the moment he gets abducted by space aliens, you're in a Marvel movie. But prior to that, it's really sad. His mother seems to be out of her mind because of brain cancer. He's a little kid. Everybody's crying. It's a horrible, soul-crushing scene.
Yeah.
Worse than that is the beginning of Up, where two little kids meet each other, and then they grow old together, and then his wife dies of something that, she was old, but it was, that whole sequence, just, tears just flowing down my face.
To this day, I'm still
that.
telling Pixar to go fuck themselves because of that scene. Oh my God.
And there's been some other Pixar movies that have kind of pulled that same heartstring, during the movie in lesser effect. But that,
Toy Story 3.
John,
the end of it. And
yes,
the trash
there's the whole Wall-E thing, before he comes back. There's Inside Out with the imaginary friend.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh, yeah, that... I've never actually seen it. My son saw it, and he was like, oh, my God, Dad, we have to go get Inside Out.
Yeah, basically, there are some movies that start or have, at some point, some horrible soul-crushing moment. John Wick, and keep in mind, there is a kind of urban legend in Hollywood that you never kill a dog because it's bad luck for your movie. Now, it's not 100% true. For instance, Old Yeller is a classic, and the dog dies at the end of it. There's been movies where dogs die, and it's, a great movie. This is one of those cases. Full on spoilers.
Okay, so...
John
ahead.
Wick, his wife has died. They set that up. And he's basically, crushed. And if you don't believe that Keanu Reeves can act, watch this whole opening sequence.
Right?
This is a man who, just in his face alone, you can see that he is just gone. He he does not want to go on, but he has to go on, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets a letter with a puppy from his dead wife. Like, she set this up before she died so that after she's gone, he would get this puppy. And in it, the letter says, you have to go on, John. Oh, good grief, I'm getting teared up just thinking about it. But so he gets
the most important role, the most important line of the whole thing is you have to love more than just the car.
Right, and he's got this really nice car and, whatever. Me, as a Mustang fan, I just dismissed the car. Anyway, he meets some random guys that are Russian and, being kind of jerks. They're young, well, youngish, and they comment on his car, and then later they steal his car. In the process of stealing the car, they kill the dog. Now, what makes it even worse, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, Stacy, not everybody does. I didn't notice it until I watched it like a second or third time. John is basically unconscious because they beat him up with a baseball bat and kick him in the head, and he's just laying there. When he wakes up, the dead dog is in his arms. Now, you might be wondering, how is the dead dog in his arms if it's dead? It wasn't dead. It dragged itself into his arms, as portrayed by a trail of blood leading from where it was beat by, I'm assuming, the baseball bat. That is the most depressing thing ever put to film, even this side of Up. And there's...
Folks, I don't think I have to do my review of the movie. Go ahead, Casual. You got this handled, man. I'm just going to sit back with my cup of coffee here.
Well, I'll let you get to your review, but what I want to say is there is a reason that they did this. The reason is that John goes on a killing spree where he plugs so many people in the head that are just doing their job in some cases. You don't care because of the beginning of the movie. You're just kill them all.
I may or may not have yelled that while I was on the couch next to Hutch, and he started laughing his ass off at me. I'm not even joking, dude. I legit was going, fucking kill him! Yeah, John! Fucking get revenge for that puppy, you son of a bitch! It was a great movie, though. As soon as I saw that dog, I was weeping. I was fucking weeping, dude. I didn't give a fuck about the chick. Fuck her. It's just a human. I have zero compassion for humans that aren't my children. My 3 children are the only ones I care about in this world as far as humanity goes. I'll admit that any day. I'm terrible. I'm a horrible human being for that, okay? Just beat me. But when it comes to a dog, I'm like, not the dog! So the fucking, he goes on the killing spree. One of my favorite parts of the entire movie. He shows up at the garage with the kid that killed the dog. Well, tortured the dog basically until it died slowly in John's arms. Beat the shit out of John. Stole the car. Shows up at the shop. And he's like, "Hey, I need a new VIN number." Blah blah. He's like, where the fuck did you get that? And it flashes back to John waking up. And then all of a sudden, John shows up at the shop because he knew exactly where it was at. Like, where's my car? He said it was here. Goes to the whole thing, and it shows the shop guy sitting, look at the kid like, whose fucking car is this? I don't know. I started just like, yeah, what'd you do? Did you kill him? No, man, I left him there. Killed his dog. Oh, he killed his dog and just decks him the fuck out. I was like, what the fuck is this all about, right? His little bodyguard comes up, puts a gun to his head. The whole exchange goes of, the normal, stereotypical, I have huge testicles, mine are bigger than yours bullshit with men. It's a stereotype in movies, or as you would call it, not a stereotype.
Cliche.
A cliche. Isn't there another word you have for it?
A trope.
A trope. Thank you.
It's sort of a trope. I don't know the the absolute difference, because there are some things that are cliches, some things that are tropes. There's some crossover. It's kind of weird.
So I thought they were kind of one and the same, just a different name for them.
It's hard to explain. You'd have to go to tvtropes.com and Wikipedia to figure it out. Like there is a difference. I don't know what it is.
Sounds good. Anyway, so a guy asked, "Why the fuck did you freak out? Get the fuck out of here. We own you." He says, "You don't own shit. Your dad. I work with your dad. That's it." Dad calls him up. Why the fuck did you strike my son? "Sir, that was John Wick's car." Oh, click. And that's when you go, this guy's really a badass, isn't he? the pieces.
Baba Yaga.
Yep, the boogeyman. Pieces start to fall into place. It shows the mob boss kicking the shit out of his son for, stealing John Wick's car and, killing his dog and just leaving him, beating the shit out of John but leaving him alive. And, you could tell the kid is stereotypical kid of, I'm a badass, I'm unstoppable, no one can kill me, what the fuck are you worried about, Dad? It was interesting. And another one of my favorite ones is it showed, as he's explained what John is, it shows John clicking into the mercenary he once was, the hitman he once was, breaking apart the concrete to get to his guns, to get to his gold coins, so he could pay off who he needed to pay off to get the jobs done. He gets into his old suit he used to wear, all that shit. The mob invades his house to do a hit on him, lays him all to waste, barely even gets touched. It was priceless, man. And I love it. Knock at the front door, cop. "Hey, how's it going, John?" I think it was Jesse or something like that, wasn't it?
I know.
Or Jimmy.
It was
Jimmy.
Yeah, I think that's it, Jimmy.
"Hey, Jimmy. Hey, got a problem? Noise complaint?" "Yeah, noise complaint." "You back in business?" "Nope, just tying up some loose ends."
and that particular sequence, in my opinion, is one of the greatest moments in the movie, because you're already getting this interesting impression of what John Wick's world is.
Yep.
And then you get introduced to this cop via the cop shows up. So John Wick has just killed at least 12 men sent to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome sequence, great action.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts about John Wick, in my opinion, is that he shoots everyone in the head. Like he'll shoot them maybe a couple times in the chest, basically just in case they're wearing body armor, but it still stuns them. Mm-hmm. And then he'll aim for their head and blow them away so that they're clearly dead. You don't get this in movies. Like the way the action was done is not natural for movies. Like it's something that we've never seen before.
Right.
So when he gets to that point with the cop, he's just basically murdered 12 people. And then he calmly answers the door with police lights outside, and they have this kind of pseudo conversation. And then the cop just kind of looking at a body. Clear evidence that this man has just killed at least one person. The cop says, "I'll leave you to it, John," and leaves.
It was just priceless, man. Absolutely priceless. I think the only thing they could have done a little better, if it would have been for me and my consumption of the movie, is they would have said something like, "Just make sure you turned on your TV." Just some little quip. But that's just me, because I like little punchy, semi jokes, But that's just me. I like remember him calling up and making reservations. Like, why the fuck is he making reservations? He just got done killing people. Why is he making reservations for food?
Yeah, note dinner reservations for 12.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? That's weird. Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, is he going to be getting a whole bunch of old friends together to, get the kill done? All of a sudden, you see a whole bunch of old people show up. Like, what? These old fucks are going to go kill people for him? All of a sudden, oh, they're the cleaning crew. And it just clicked. I'm like, motherfucker, really? But yeah, so it shows what the life is. It explained the gold coins, how The gold coins that you saw in his case with the guns is how mobsters do favors to each other, how they pay each other off and stuff like that. Not mobster, the Hitman world. I thought it was kind of fun, you know?
Okay, so little explanation for
Please,
this
help me
Hitman
here.
world.
I was a little too lost in the movie to kind of take in the whole thing. It's one of those ones I'm going to have to watch 2 or 3 times to get it all, but at the same time, it put me in such a weird mental state. I'll explain that in a second. It was kind of hard to watch. You know, it'll be hard to watch over and over.
Yeah. So the Hitman world that John lives in, some people, especially after John Wick 2, I won't spoil that if you decide to see it.
Oh, it's already on the plate. We're going to be doing it hopefully this coming weekend.
Okay. It's also really good, obviously. But there is something that kind of occurs in that movie where some people who aren't really understanding are like, what, is everyone an assassin in this world? No, everyone is not an assassin in this world. But the people that are assassins, and it should also be noted, they're not like random assassins. These are basically mafia hitmen.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't just like mercenary dudes that are going around killing people. They are working for a vast criminal organization. It's not super explained what this vast criminal organization is, even in the second movie, but I'm sure there will be a third movie that will explain it more and whatever.
Yeah. Well, the third one's in the process of being made as we speak, correct?
Yeah, I think so. I want to say they might even be working on 2 or maybe 3 of them because, you know, the reception was fairly good. So,
I can't say enough good things about the first one already. But the movie was insane because, you know, the further it went in, it showed him talking to old friends. Everybody, every single one of them. Are you back? Are you back? Are you back? And yeah, I like how it builds up to it. Everybody, are you back? Are you back? Nope, I'm not back. I'm just taking care of some loose ends.
Just taking care of some business or whatever. Yeah.
I want to say it was either loose ends or business, just taking care of a couple things. You know, he's always trying to define, no, I'm not back. I'm just here to take care of something real quick. And everybody's calling him on his bullshit. Like, John, if you're here, you're back and you know it. And even the owner of the hotel he's staying in is like, John, if you tip even your pinky back into here, people are going to drag you back in. Are you sure? Have you thought long and hard down to the bone that you want to do this? And he said, where's the info? Tell me where to go. You know, and it was just amazing. And then the this is the part that actually pissed me off, like really pissed me off. I'll get to that in a second. But, you know, he walks up, he puts the gun to the back of the guy's head where the kid's at the thing called the Red Circle. And it shows Kevin Nash, which I was just like, hey, I remember you wrestling. He just kind of stops, went, you know, he said, hey, such and such. Hi, John. Here for business? Afraid so, old friend. And you could tell it's just a camaraderie, and you could tell they worked together in the past, and you could tell a professional relationship there of mutual respect. And that's when he said, how about you take the night off? Earpiece off. Thank you very much, Mr. Wick, and just takes the fuck off. But, you know, he goes in, he kills the kid's friend, drowns him, takes his phone, walks to the whole club, works his way up from, I think what was it, the basement all the way up to the top to try to kill this kid, chasing him all the way through the floors. He's killing everybody. And Casual, I ever since you started bitching about plot armor, I've called it every fucking time I've watched a movie now because of you, you son of a bitch. I was watching this, and he's shooting everyone. Pop, pop, chest, at most 2, shot dead in the head. Every single time. And here's this kid running behind clear, not even cloudy glass, but clear glass, and John just happens to miss every fucking shot. Can we say plot armor?
Well, hold on. Did he, though?
Yes, of course he did.
No. Because think about it. He had a shot on that kid.
Yeah.
In that same scene, he had a shot, and he actively did not take it and shot the guy that was under his knee instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was also him running through the glass area, though.
I realize that, but I'm thinking that John was blinded by his rage a little bit. He was not thinking clearly, and maybe, just maybe, he also actively missed.
Yeah, do you think he was fucking with him?
I mean,
the character they built out of John doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would fuck with somebody just to fuck with them. He seems like the kind of guy who would drop them immediately at the first chance for a shot.
Yeah, but I mean, if someone killed my wife and dog, I'd want them to feel... I want them to feel very, very afraid before I finally did kill them. Maybe that's just,
Right.
I'm just vindictive that way, but maybe... I don't know.
well, yeah, John is kind of that way too, and you have to consider that he, whether he actively missed or not, he was still pretty blinded by rage. There was some adrenaline pumping through him. He had been, beaten up a bit, and he wasn't close. Like, everyone that he shot in the head, they were basically right on him. There wasn't a whole lot of, at that point, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, oh, you're 30 feet away, well, I'm still going to shoot you in the head. He mostly was killing people at like, the range where you can grab them still.
True.
And later on, when he did kill people at range, he used a different gun, too. He was using assault rifles and sniper rifles and stuff. So I'm just saying that you're right, but at the same time, maybe it was intentional.
Okay, I'll give you that. It's obviously in the movie. To me, I looked at it as plot armor, but that's just me. I looked at it as like, what the fuck is wrong with this movie? He could have dropped him easily, but you might be right that he might have been fucking with them to terrorize them, like Robbie said, because he wanted him to feel pain and feel the terror. But it's just, maybe I'm reading too much into it because it's just a fucking movie. We have to remember this too. But I like the whole way up, how he walks in to the hotel after obviously not killing the kid. Walks into the hotel and the receptionist just like, hey, what's going on? You need the doctor? Just like nonchalant as shit. Because apparently, the way I'm guessing, it just happens all the time that people come hobbling in bloody as hell,
Well, keep in mind that specific hotel is owned by the organization in some fashion.
Very true, but it's just funny to me how he's just like, he wasn't like, hey, John, do you need help now? He was like, would you like me to send the doctor up to your suite? Okay. Just calm as calm can be.
I personally like the other line that goes with that sequence where he asks if they have a laundry service, and the concierge says, I'm sorry, sir, no one is that good.
I remember hearing that and losing my shit cackling. But it shows the doctor come up, and I like it. It's like, all right, how long is it going to take you to heal? Proper, or let me guess, you have business left. Take 2 of these before you do it. Your stitches will rip out, but at least you'll be able to make it through.
And I love how the doctor basically rolled his eyes like, I hate these assassins. They're always ruining my work.
Right? I got to the, towards the end, John gets captured because he almost kills the granddad, the dad of the kid, which is his old employer. And, it shows him getting tortured. And there was always this one old buddy of his who was hired to kill him. And I was like, how the fuck is he constantly missing? He should have been able to drop him at this point. There's no way he could have missed. That's bullshit. And I was starting to put the pieces together. I'm like, he's fucking helping him out, isn't he? So, John's sitting there yelling at the boss. I can't remember what the fucking boss guy's name is, the Russian dude.
I don't know. He's Russian.
But yeah, the Russian mob boss. And, sitting there screaming and yelling at him and stuff like that, saying, you know what, I've decided, everybody's asking me if I'm back. Yeah, I'm fucking back, and you're going to be screaming next to your son when I decide to drop you if you don't give him to me now. Puts the bag on his face, tries to kill him. Guy gets shot in the head next to him, does the whole scene. It's fucking fantastic. But I'm just like, that really defined John right there of going, you know what? I was trying to stay out. I was trying to finish business, but you brought me back, motherfucker. You know, you brought back the old John, the one that will do anything to finish what I need to do. Brought back the master assassin, you know? I remember him running out and just fucking getting the mob boss to come crawling out of the car saying, where's your son? Give him to me. Drop the contract or you're dead. And I was like, you know what? That shows right there the depths of human depravity of won't even protect their own child if their own life is on the line. You know, most humans, no matter how high and mighty they are, you know, fuck it, take them, kill them. I want to be alive. No matter who you are, that's what it's going to be. Yeah, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows them, you know, taking down this entire compound where the kid is after the dad hands him over while the dad's smoking a fucking joint, you know, trying to relax, realizing his kid's dead. You know, John comes in, drops one, takes over the sniper position. I was like, that's brilliant, man. Check-in position. Check. You know, he does it himself. I'm like, that's brilliant. That's fucking brilliant, you know? Especially since he worked for the mob boss. He knows how their militias ran. Stuff like that. It's fucking brilliant. Drops in with the sniper, gets in there. The kid, the whole time, is screaming, it's just a dog, just a dog. Just like his dad looked at John like, it's just a dog. Why'd you do this? And then he said, you know, he took away my only thing to grieve from my wife. Now I'm going to take away the only thing that is precious to you, your son. The kid, the whole time, it's just a dog. What the bang? I was like, that's it. You know? I love how they wrote John. You know, gets out, gets a call from the mob boss. Hey, by the way, you know your buddy who helped you out by, you know, purposely missing? We just killed him for betraying us. And the chick that was trying to kill him in the hotel and stuff like that helped, you know, turn him in and let him know where he was and all that type of shit. It was fucking priceless. So it gets down to the end of it.
Priceless!
It was,
Sorry.
Man.
That was a line from the movie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, when John burnt all of that dude's stuff in the church
you're
thing.
right. I forgot about that. But yeah, so you know he turns around, goes back to where his buddy's house was at. I can't remember what the hell he did, but he somehow he got a call from the owner of the organization saying a certain someone is going to his helicopter at a certain place, and you know says it like that basically. Chases down the dad, kills everybody in the whole fucking in the 2-car convoy, which was priceless. I love the fact that the Droogie, the left-hand Droogie, right-hand man, whatever you want to call him, was just like, does anybody have a gun? And here's the Russian guy. Huh? You want the gun?
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. You fucking Russian bastard. Falls out of the car. Goes to shoot John, the only guy who had a chance to kill John the entire movie, realistically. Pings the bullet off the door frame and misses John completely. And the guy's like, haha, I almost got you. Oh, shit. John obviously gets out, kicks his ass, runs him over, if I remember correctly, right? No, he sideswipes him with the car.
Yeah, he swipes him with the car, and I don't know if he actually died, to be honest, but yeah.
The way his body rolled back, you know, his eyes rolled back of his head, his body went limp. Everybody's kind of took it as he's dead.
Right.
John gets out, go to track down this cocksucker while John's still injured. That's the best part of this whole thing. Mob boss is like, all right, no guns, let's do this. And I was just like, oh, cool, man. All of a sudden, mob boss, like, fuck you, pulls out a knife halfway through the fight. I'm like, that pulls on all the stereotypes of a mob person of like, fuck you, fuck honor. I'm going to make you think it's honor and then, you know, take you any way I can to stop you from killing me. Yeah, I mean, that really pulls on all the stereotypes. Like, that's perfect, man. That was really good because I kind of like how it developed the character to the last second of the mob boss. And I like even to the very end the professional courtesy towards both of them, which was just weird. And, you know, the mob boss realizes he's dying. He realizes John probably is going to live. And he kind of looks at John. I'll be seeing you, John. I'll be seeing you. And I was just like, dude, that's oh my God, dude. In the words of the priest, priceless. It's so good. So good. I mean, I can't help but hone in over and over and over again on the pure the character development they did over and over and over again to really show the professionalism of the assassin world and how built it was and how, it's all about what did the mob boss say on oh God, not professionalism, but what fucking phrase did he say? I'm trying to remember what it was.
Well, I think I know what you're talking about. He
Let's
was
not act like this.
He was talking about let's be civilized.
Civilized,
men.
thank you.
John says, "Do I look fucking civilized to you?"
Oh, it was so good. But at the very end of the movie, he goes to staple himself up in breaks into a vet, staples himself up, sees a dog in a cage, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to get my replacement dog now. Come on, let's go home." Walks the dog home. It was just a good fucking scene. The whole movie was good, but here's two things I noticed. One, isn't it fucking sweet, ironic justice that the only reason John had to kill the son and had his dog killed and had his car stolen was because of the fact that he killed all of the mob boss's enemies to get out of the organization? That's why he was as powerful as he was?
Well, he was. You're talking about the mob boss being powerful, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That was kind of the poetic beauty of the movie overall to me, is that there's a point in the movie when the mafia guy says something about we all get we all have to pay for our sins, or whatever.
Yes.
And John, even at another point, says to somebody, "Is this the price I'm paying? Is my wife's death, whatever?" And a part of me is like, no, it just happened. But there's another part of me that kind of thinks, well, maybe. I mean, you were a bad person. Technically, he still is a bad person.
Arthas is barking at the door, guys. I'm sorry. Arthas, that's okay. The kids, yeah, I know. Wolf like a big scary dog. You're a big scary guard dog. Yes, you are. You're terrifying. They're pissing their pants, Arthas. That's how you build up your dog's self-esteem. They think they're big scary guard dogs when they're just big fluffy teddy bears. But yes, this is the one thing I noticed about the movie that drove me crazy, but I loved it at the same time. And I like a movie when I'm talking about this much and when I'm actually giving it this good of a review. I just usually talk down about movies nonstop. So this is a good movie, folks. Go fucking see it if I liked it. My favorite thing is the fact that Keanu Reeves, I loved him in The Matrix. I thought he was amazing in The Matrix. Bill and Ted, was a funny role, sure, but none of these roles really seemed perfect for him. This movie was perfect for him. Absolutely, it felt like he was born for this role. And the fact that the dialogue was killer, absolutely killer. I loved how well the dialogue worked because it wasn't long discussion pieces. It wasn't shit tons of dialogue. The entire movie was built for the action with dialogue tagged on to make it a movie is what it felt like. And honestly, that's what this movie needed. That's what the movie needed.
It was, because it was actually made by the people that did... I don't know exactly what their role was, but they were involved in Matrix fight choreography.
Okay, then...
Which is part of why Keanu Reeves was selected for the role, because they knew he could do it, because blah blah blah. But yeah, it's like I don't think they're brothers, but they're two guys that were involved somehow in the fight choreography of The Matrix, and they had this idea. That idea was John Wick, and we got a movie out of it, and it's awesome.
That would explain why the action points were so on point then, because that's one thing I've always praised about The Matrix is the fight scenes were out of this world. Except for the 3D Smith one. That was just dumb.
Well, okay, but you have to remember, like, a lot of people say that the 3D Smith fight was terrible and, oh, look at how bad it was. But you have to consider one thing. That was in 1999. That sequence, most of The Matrix, in fact, set the stage for all modern action movies since. Like, action movies up until The Matrix had started to get a little stale. There were many reasons for that. One was that people didn't even consider using CGI for action sequences involving people because they were like, oh, well, you can't make a person in CGI. Now, again, you could argue they still didn't. Ha ha ha. But they were so far ahead of their time. We got Spider-Man because of that.
We got
Man of Steel because of that. We got basically every action sequence that involves a real actor that at least appears to be doing the actual action now. Like, The Matrix 1, 2, and 3, no matter whether you like the philosophy, religion stuff, which most people don't, the action and the basic story structure are well done, and they basically revolutionized action movies in the future. We wouldn't have modern superhero movies being as good as they are if it weren't for The Matrix.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I never discredited the fight scene in The Matrix because they didn't look real enough. That wasn't the reason I hated it. I hated it because it just felt unnatural. They could have done so much more with what they gave it, but instead they just had throngs upon throngs of Agent Smiths attack Neo instead of it having an epic fight scene that could have been. Fucking Smith is a computer program. He could do so much more than just bodies upon bodies.
No, that was kind of the point, because in The Matrix, Smith basically lost his mind.
True.
And became what he was. And the idea was that Smith is now a literal virus, just like he was saying humanity was. Like, it was supposed to be like a, it's now you're the virus and whatever. And
yeah, you know what? Looking at it that way, it does make. And by the way, Robbie, I'm sorry if I'm talking all over you, buddy. I'm not trying to shut you up or take over.
Oh no, don't worry, man. You're talking about John Wick. I haven't really seen the movie, so I don't have much to say on it.
Okay, sounds good, buddy. It's just, when you put it out that way, it does make a lot of sense. It does. I wish they would have defined that more in the movie instead of just making it look like, oh look, build a huge action sequence and just bodies upon bodies at Neo. If they would have built it up and they would have explained it better, I mean, maybe if I would have paid more attention, which is hard to believe because I was paying a lot of attention to that movie because I loved it so much. If they would have gave that more attention and gave that detail more, I think it would have made more sense to me. But I did not like it. Now, looking at that point of view, it does make a lot more sense, and that fight scene isn't nearly as bad now. It's just, I can't, I'm having a hard time giving it any credit. But that's just me because,
No, it's not just you. A lot of people don't give the fight sequences in The Matrix credit. They love the first movie because, the first movie was so original, which is sort of true. I mean, essentially, the Wachowskis ripped off anime.
Yeah.
And they successfully created anime in live action, which has yet to be done very well. I actually liked Ghost in the Shell, but not many people did. But the thing about the sequels, most people focus on the high school level philosophy that was spouted by the architect in that one scene where Neo goes to visit the weird room with all the TVs.
I'm trying to remember this one. There's so many amazing scenes. I'm trying to remember all of them. You know what I mean?
But, well, the point being that the second movie had this whole philosophy angle. Like, it was all philosophy, philosophy, philosophy. And everybody was spouting philosophy. But it was all like low end freshman level high school philosophy, which part of the reason they did that was because they didn't want to get super complicated, but the other reason was because they really weren't that smart. You know, the writers were like, "Ooh, we're so smart," back in high school. So it came across as being what it was, philosophy spouted by a freshman that just learned about philosophy. You know, it was extremely simplified. It was not very well, explained, and people hated that. The second thing that people hated was in the third one. It was religion. Neo was the Christ figure. Agent Smith was the devil, and there were some other problems people had, like how did Neo kill the machines when he was in the real world and stuff. Now, there is a fix for all of it.
They're still in the Matrix.
Yes, it's the biggest fan theory that makes all of it work, and that is that it's just another means of control. They're all still in the Matrix. Nothing has changed. It's just another program meant to keep people as batteries.
Yep, and let's just get this out of the way right now. I think, can we all agree that saying the batteries is completely and utterly stupid, and that they should have gone with their original idea, a CPU?
Yes, but unfortunately some executive got involved that didn't understand why they were being used as CPUs, and so we got what we got instead.
Fucking assholes. Sorry, maybe it's just me at the tech side going, that doesn't work, asshole! But yeah, anyway, moving on. I know we kind of got off topic with John Wick, and I do apologize, but it's just these two go together so goddamn well, because you could tell they're made by the same action people. I guess the best way to say it like this: if you were a fan of the action from The Matrix and you hated the storyline, go see John Wick. That's really it, because that's all you're getting is action with small amounts of story and dialogue just to make it technically a movie. And if you're in that type of movie, this is the one. That's fucking it. I really wanted a little bit more story and dialogue, but honestly, I think that would have killed the movie. I really believe that would have killed John Wick.
It wasn't about more dialogue. Like, even the second movie delves more into the lore of the assassin world and the mafia or whatever that controls it. But again, it doesn't go so deep that you're like, would you stop? It does it just right, and it doesn't like some movies will sometimes start as an action movie, and then in the next movie there will be less action and more lore and whatever.
Please tell me that's not John Wick.
That is not John Wick. John
Christ.
Wick, in fact, has, in my I want to say it has more action than the first one. Or maybe better.
How the fuck
action.
can you get more or better than the first one? Because it's so good.
It has... While delving into the lore of the whole organization stuff, it throws new ways of John Wick assassination action. So it's not entirely new, but it's also it's really good.
Fuck! I can't wait to see number 2. I can't wait to see number 2. I can't say enough good things about that entire movie. Once again, folks, I know we've been going on for about 40 minutes now on just one movie, and I do apologize, but it's that good. What's that?
Well, I'm sold.
Well, there's gonna be at least one person in the comments with the slowpoke meme. I'm already waiting for it. And go ahead. I'm willing to take all the criticism and all the critiques and all the making fun of. I'm willing to take it.
What I would say is there are a lot of people, Robbie, you're not the only one, that they refuse to see movies because they have certain actors in them. This is like, for example, Tom Cruise is one of those actors that some people really hate Tom Cruise and they refuse to see any movie.
Hi, my name's Stacey Kruger. I'm in that group.
If you don't see Mission Impossible, though, you're depriving yourself of a great
It wasn't
action
that
movie.
good, though, because it had the fucking thumb twiddler. I don't like him, man.
Thumb twiddler?
I was trying to say something not incredibly vulgar about him. The couch jumper. How about that? Better? Oprah? Nothing?
Yeah, that happened a long time ago.
Okay,
but again,
the ghost coming out of his butthole, man. Better?
what I will say though is that
All my jokes are dying today. Jesus.
this is one of those John Wick and The Matrix are those movies for Keanu Reeves. Like,
Yep.
if you're one of those people that say, oh, Keanu Reeves is just that guy that was in Bill and Ted, he's an idiot. And I just recently watched Dracula, and he can't do an accent to save his life. And every time he tries, I wish he would stop. And he wasn't even that good, but then again, having rewatched Dracula, that movie wasn't that good. I don't know why it got such critical praise. It
Bram
is
Stoker,
awful.
right?
Yes.
Did I say Stroker?
even-
Jesus. Bram Stoker. That's my porn
Is it the
name.
porn version?
Bram Stoker's Dicula.
Oh, my God. Casual. Robbie, we have something to make. What are you doing in 2
But-
weeks? Can we get Robbie a
But
ticket
yeah,
to the U.S.?
so even
I
if you
want
don't
to
want
suck
watch,
your dick.
even if you don't want to watch The Matrix 2 and 3, that's fine. But at least do yourself the favor of watching The Matrix 1 and John Wick 1.
To go back to the Matrix just for half a second, and the bitching people had about it. Number 2 with the brain, please, the dialogue, the help me, high school philosophy. Thank you. Why did that word escape me? I apologize, folks. The high school philosophy. I thought it worked really well because the fact that you got to kind of condense it down and make it a little more simple for a lot of people, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I understood that. But the thing I loved and that everybody hated was the religion aspect for number 3. Because let's face it, it's kind of going, hey, by the way, here's a mirror. If you look at any religion out there, period, any religion out there, this is this said person within your religion, this is what this God is. Here's a mirror. This is what your religion looks like, just with machines. And a thing called the Matrix, which possibly could be the real world. And looking through that mirror, I loved it. I thought that was fucking amazing because I love it, even if it's not necessarily being offensive, because I don't like being offensive to people's religions. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what somebody believes. It has no standing in my life. I just love it when you stop and look back at what you're talking about going, holy shit, this is a great representation of what this is. Not in an offensive way, just a great representation. Because like I said, I don't think The Matrix was a offensive way of representing religion itself. It's just a great representation of religion, period. Would you agree?
It depends. I mean, it depends on how seriously people take that stuff. And there's also a difference between religion and faith.
Yeah.
Religion is the ideologies and the traditions and, like most of Catholicism and the stringent things that they do in Orthodox Jewish
Also,
religion and the Muslim
I was about to say
ones
Muslim
where they
faith.
there's a bunch of different religions that if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then you're not following the religion. But then there's faith, and faith without religion is possible. Like, it is entirely possible to have faith in something and not be religious about it. But that's a whole other...
Like, I have faith in Casual to not shit all over me during the podcast. I have faith in it.
Really?
But that's kind of what I was trying to point out, is that I truly felt that number 3 was a point back at religion, not faith. And I loved it. I fucking loved it because it had the good, the bad. If you do this, you're going to be punished and taken out of the Matrix and flushed down the toilet. Which, let's face it, you did the wrong thing, you're flushed to quote-unquote hell or whatever bad place your chosen religion has. I like that a lot. You go against the higher person, you're going to be cut down and you're going to be punished for it. Where this one person has come to save everyone, and it's just a great look at religion. And not necessarily a bad look. It's just a look at religion. I fucking loved it. I can't say enough good things about how good that was.
Yes, I agree.
That's nice, Stacy.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything to say about it because
I'm used to it with
agree.
you. Just like that. That's nice, Stacy. Can we move on now? That's what I'm used to hearing out of you. We've talked about a lot of really, really, really heavy shit. Do you want to move on to something a little more fun, or do you want to have another heavy one?
Robbie, opinions?
I'm always up for fun.
Okay, before we get into the heavy subject, we love making fun of movies, right, guys? We just love making fun of, especially when they're bad.
Well,
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
because we love movies, so, you know.
I found
The
a
bad
list. I found a top 11 list on a website called GameSpot.com. Top 11 movie supervillains who are very bad at being bad. And I was kind of reading this like, oh my god, it's right. This is fucking awesome.
Oh, good lord! Yeah, I saw the image that you have up
Yep.
on Discord for this.
Now, I didn't really look at this. Why does it say they were bad at being bad?
As you'll let me read off a couple of these, and I think you'll start to click. Blackheart from Ghost Rider. He may not be like the most well-known, Marvel villain, but he's a decent one. But in Marvel's Ghost Rider comic, he was like a scary, demonic kind of guy. Possessed incredible supernatural powers. Well, in the fucking movie, though, he was reduced to like a moody dude with pasty skin and a Russian accent, whose powers seem to solely consist of a lethal touch.
Yeah, I don't really like the way they did him in the movie.
Okay.
Because in the comics he looked really cool, but in the movie they kind of like degraded him to just a guy with really scary eyes.
Exactly.
In the not just in the comics, but for those that remember the whole before it became Marvel versus Capcom, it was X-Men. The fighting game was, it started with X-Men, then it was X-Men versus Street Fighter, then it was Marvel versus Capcom. Well, in one of those, maybe even two of them, they had Blackheart as a fightable, like a selectable character you could fight with. And when I saw him in the game, I was like, "Who is this d-bag?" To me, he just looked like another big giant blue dude, and he had like these demons that he could summon. But then I kind of researched it and used him in the fighting game and stuff, and I was like, "Man, this is a cool Ghost Rider villain. Like, this is the kind of villain you want in Ghost Rider. He's the spirit of vengeance. He's basically an indestructible demon thing. And here's something that could threaten him, outside of the devil himself."
And then inside the movie, it's just some whiny bitch.
Yeah, the movie, which, by the way, it wasn't the first Ghost Rider. It was the second Ghost Rider.
Really?
Yeah.
They made two of them?
Yeah.
Both with Nicolas Cage?
Yep.
I've never heard of the second one. What?
Blackheart was in the first one, wasn't he? Yeah,
I thought he was in the second one.
No, because the second one had like a weird fucking. I don't even know who the villain. No, I think the second one was Satan. It's supposed to be Satan, or something along those lines. I remember Blackheart was definitely the villain of the first one.
Well, I know they changed Mephisto. Oh, you know what? You're right.
Oh shit! You're not joking, guys.
Because they changed Mephisto in the second one because he was the actor that played him in the first one was like, no thanks.
You know what I love, guys? Is like just like every fucking Nick Cage movie out there. The first one gets 5.5 out of 2, a 5.2 out of 10 stars. The second one, 4.3 out of 10. Always the fucking sequel's worse, if not. And usually the first one's just as shitty, if not just a teensy bit better. Because it's Jack Nick Cage. That's it. I never knew there was a second one. I have no ambition to watch it because it's fucking Nick Cage and Ghost Rider, and the first one was pretty bad.
I mean, the one I can tell you about one thing about the second one, and that is flaming piss.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that was bad.
That almost seems worth it. Was it really that cheesy, though?
It was stupid.
God damn it. The one cool thing that could have been amazing, and it was stupid? Ugh, all right.
I mean, there is one cool thing in the second movie, and that's, those, like, gigantic fucking earth digger things?
Earth digger. Are you talking about, like, the actual backhoes?
No, not like a backhoe, but like...
The giant, like, wheel shovel thing.
Yeah, it's like it tears up the earth in huge chunks.
I vaguely know what you're talking about, but yeah.
Well, basically, because every vehicle he gets behind the wheel of basically bursts into flames and becomes like a Ghost Rider version of it. He gets behind the wheel of one of those.
You're fucking joking, right?
No.
Okay,
it was almost like they're like, "Hey, here's a shark. Let's jump it."
While we're on the subject of Ghost Rider, I want to say that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Ghost Rider makes an appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
And he is awesome. Like,
Yeah.
this is the version of Ghost Rider we want. And he's awesome for a number of reasons. Spoilers, most people aren't even watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., unfortunately, because the first half of the first season was, it wasn't bad, but it was mediocre.
Okay.
But in this show, they set up, over the course of 3 seasons, they set up that they have these cells, basically, that can hold any of the superhumans they encounter. Like, even the most powerful ones can't get out of them without, like, tricking somebody to get out. Mm-hmm. And when they encounter Ghost Rider, they put him in one of these cells. And the guy who is Ghost, I can't remember his name. He's kind of a more recent version of Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Yeah. Rather than having a car, he has rather than having a motorcycle, he has a car with what are those really big engines on the front of them?
Yeah, it's basically the Fast and Furious Dodge Charger.
Oh.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool. Like when the Ghost Rider gets into it and it starts up, it's just a normal car, but then the engine, like, instead of just having like the typical flames, it literally lights on fire and turns red and the wheels catch on fire. It's really cool looking. But that being said, in this sequence where they put the guy in the cell, he just basically, he doesn't want to cause any pain, blah, 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 because usually the whoever is the Ghost Rider is some tortured guy who's like, oh, I can't believe I've killed people, blah, blah, blah. And at some point, for whatever reason, he does turn into the Ghost Rider. And these cells that they have, again, over 3 seasons, made absolutely confirmed that they can hold anything. The Ghost Rider just walks out. like he doesn't do some big overly like he just walks out. The door doesn't hold him. The whole cell just basically like breaks in front of him, and it kind of shows. And one of the other things that they do is, for the last 3 seasons, they've been dealing with the Inhumans, basically Marvel's way of dealing with mutants without being able to use mutants. And one of them asks the Ghost Rider character, "Hey, so how did you get your powers and stuff?" And he very flatly says, "I made a deal with the devil." And you get this reaction from the person that asked, like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha." And as he realizes he's not joking, he just kind of like, "Oh." Like, you really made a deal with the devil. Okay, then.
What the fuck? So we can go a little further into this. I'm amazed. This next one on the list is this early on the list. To me, this should have been the top one, but that's because I'm a huge fan of this character. Now, if I ask you one of the worst portrayals of a character on the Marvel side of a villain, what would it be?
The Fan-4 Doctor Doom.
I
should
was
have
going to
said
say
that.
there are worse portrayals, but ironically, both the worst and the best.
To me, the number one worst was Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine, because he was a straight villain instead of an anti-hero.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was...
Well, that's not only one of the reasons, but I mean, that's why he's included on this list, because he was just a straight villain instead of an anti-hero.
Right. And he was confusing.
Right? You know, and I felt bad for poor Ryan Reynolds, because if anybody could have played this goddamn role, why'd it have to be him? Because if I remember correctly, was this one of his very first big movies?
Oh, no.
I thought it was one of his first big ones.
He was a huge star before this. He mostly did like romantic comedies and roles where he was playing a smarmy, like sarcastic dude.
So
which
he's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, basically yes, he was playing Ryan Reynolds, and in this one, he starts as a great potential Deadpool. Like, he starts the movie as exactly what you would imagine Wade Wilson to be.
Except for the swords thing, where it's just like super fast swords. I'm like, that wasn't...
Well, yeah, that was kind of weird. But outside of that, he is Deadpool. And then they did the end of the movie.
So, in case you haven't seen it, which, if you haven't, we don't encourage you. Just listen to this. This, by the way, X-Men Origins Wolverine is one of the worst movies in the X-Men universe, period, personally. So the Merc with the mouth, which we all know Deadpool of, he actually doesn't have a mouth at the end, because they sew it shut, because they lay the seeds, like, you better shut that mouth before I sew it shut in the beginning of the movie, and all of a sudden, ha ha ha, Deadpool's up, and Wolverine's like, oh, they actually sewed your mouth shut, ha ha ha. It's so fucking dumb. He doesn't have his costume whatsoever. Only thing he has that resembles his costume is his eyes are like carved into diamonds for some reason to look sort of like the mask. Sort of.
Yeah.
Well, they were burnt into it was stupid.
Yeah.
The whole thing was just stupid.
Yeah, if you take a razor blade and just cut the space between your ballsack and your asshole, you'll get the general idea.
Please don't do that, by the way. It will hurt a lot, and then we'll get blamed.
Here's my thing is Jesus Christ. My biggest thing is the fact that basically it was a muted killing machine controlled by Colonel Stryker, and that's what they wrote in the article. And I can't help but agree with it. Like, why the fuck would you even bother making that Deadpool? Deadpool is such an amazing character. Why would you turn that into Deadpool? Like, they took nothing from the original character besides the fact that he was hilarious and he was a very smart ass motherfucker, and that's it.
They took the name Wade Wilson.
Yep.
They took the name... Well, okay. They didn't actually... Well, no. They didn't actually call him Deadpool. They called him Weapon 11.
Yep.
But they did refer to him as the Deadpool, which was a really lame way to do... It was like some sort of weird reference. He's the Deadpool of powers.
Yeah.
Like, it was super dumb. Very, very badly done. Basically, the X-Men movies have, at this point, said that they have retconned X-Men Origins Wolverine out of existence.
I'm not upset about it. All right, so out of all the Batman flicks, of the original Batman, not, Christopher Nolan, all that, the original Batman series, what was the worst Batman villain to you? There's like 3 of them on this list, I believe, but what was the worst one?
I'm looking at the list, so I can tell you one of them I definitely agree with. but I don't agree that this was the worst villain, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so the villain there that we're about to mention is Mr. Freeze, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of torn between, like, whether I think they were a good portrayal of the villain, which I don't, and whether I really liked their portrayal, which I really liked Arnold Schwarzenegger's portrayal, just because he was so funny.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get into this. Go ahead, Casual. I'm sorry, bud.
Well, I was just going to... mimicking what Robbie is saying. Basically, do I think he was a good portrayal of Mr. Freeze? Hell no, he was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I would have rather had the version of Mr. Freeze from the animated show, because that is, in my opinion, the definitive Mr. Freeze. Mm-hmm. He's not really a bad guy, for one thing. Yep. He's just trying to save his wife, and he is legitimately torn about some of the things he's doing, but he's lost so much at this point that he doesn't really care about the rest of humanity. All he cares about is his wife.
Exactly.
That's not what Arnold Schwarzenegger was. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the definitive Arnold Schwarzenegger role, because all he did the entire movie was spout one-liners.
That's kind of what he's turned into. Let's face it, what he's always been.
Well, yeah, but he used to actually have lines. But he didn't have a single line that I can remember. He might have had some lines that weren't one-liners, but I don't remember any of the lines other than every time he was on screen, it was another one-liner. And
hey, chill out.
That is like the condensed, quintessential version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah. Like, it's the version we all remember and love because we think that's all he is. And that I love that.
Really? See, like I'm going to echo off of Robbie on this one. Comic book, terrible. As a new character, he was great playing that new character because it definitely wasn't Freeze. Kind of like how I looked at the Nolan-verse version of Joker. Not really a good Joker, but a different version of the Joker, fantastic. Of course, me also looking at the body type of Freeze, I was like, no, that Freeze was like just a pencil. He's a nerdy guy that had a super suit that made him strong, not already buff as fuck with just like a suit to make him a little extra strong. No, that suit was everything. Without the suit, he's just a brilliant man, though. Fucking brilliant.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger's suit looked like something out of a shitty sci-fi series. With basically without the suit, he basically dies.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind that Joel Schumacher, the reason that the third movie, with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones was made the way it was, and I'm not justifying how bad it was. I'm justifying the reason it was bad is because after Batman and Batman Returns, the studio, for whatever reason, and this was a problem for a lot of comic book movies back in the day, the studio couldn't get it in their heads that you could make adult movies and comic book movies. They had this opinion that all comic book movies were made for kids. And when they made the third one, they basically were like, okay, the first movie was dark, the second movie was even darker, which, by the way, it wasn't. They had penguins firing rockets. I mean, come on.
Right, dude. Right.
But that's what the studio saw. They just saw the whole weird thing where Selena Kyle killed a guy while kissing him with a taser in their mouth.
Yep.
And they saw Danny DeVito's performance, which I honestly really enjoy Danny DeVito as the Penguin. I think he is probably one of the best this side of Burgess Meredith. But that being said, Joel Schumacher...
I'm having a hard time agreeing with you on that one. I'm sorry. It's better than others.
Well, I mean, there aren't that many roles other than like the animated show and the
video game was the definitive.
Arkham games.
The Arkham game was the definitive Penguin to me personally.
I hated the Arkham version. I thought that the whole that whole bottle, like broken bottle in his eye thing. Are you kidding me? The Penguin is not that much of a reject. Like, that's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah, I think though from the point it was where the whole city was cut off. That's the point that it got to where it was so rough and tumble. It was so cut off. He probably couldn't get it. The
Penguin doesn't need a monocle that isn't a monocle. I would have rather he had a broken monocle than the bottom of a bottle that was broken and shoved into his eye. It was not in keeping because the whole idea of the Penguin is that he's a classy guy. Now, if he couldn't get access to a proper monocle and top hat and a tuxedo, he would have just continued wearing a dirty one, which is kind of what he did. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
The point is that Joel Schumacher was given notes by the studio executives to lighten up the Batman franchise.
And then
to his credit, he did exactly that. He made it more like the original 60s campy show, and it was awful.
And then they gave us Bane, too. Bane was the epitome of what was terrible about the Batman franchise, in my opinion. The Bane they gave us in the movie, at least, should I say, excuse me. It was awful. Like, he was just a grunting idiot. He was like a thrown out, rejected fucking prisoner who was pumped full of venom, and he turned into a mind numbed idiot who was just muscle man. That's it. Where in the comic books he was a mastermind. And then like in the article here, it's saying that 15 years later it was redeemed by Tom Hardy in the Batman Dark Knight Rises. I have a hard time. I was about to say I have a hard time agreeing with that because they took the mastermind element of it. I love that, but they didn't really go with what made Bane Bane. But that's me.
Okay, my thing about the Nolan version of Bane is I liked that he wasn't just some dumb muscle-bound grotesque.
That made me very happy too, yes.
Because here's the thing, not being a huge Batman person, I saw the original, when I heard about Bane, I was like, what? Batman got his back broken by just some big muscle-bound jackass? No way. And I didn't really know much about him, and I didn't care to do any research because screw Bane.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, I did do the research, and basically it was the Arkham franchise. Mm-hmm. When I got the Arkham version of Bane, and he was a big muscle-bound dude, but he was smart. He was like, I was like, what is this? So I did the wiki research, and I was like, oh, this makes more sense. Will we get that version in movies? I don't think we ever will, because the problem is moviegoers are only going to be able to accept one or the other.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They're going to be able to accept a mostly normal-looking guy that is muscle-bound, but not ridiculously muscle-bound, or they're going to be able to accept a Hulk-like character that is an idiot and just smashes things. Combining the two is a stretch for the general movie going on.
See, I liked Bane from all four of the Arkhams, all three of them, because I don't think he was in Arkham Knight, was he? I don't remember him.
Honestly don't. I haven't played Arkham Knight yet.
Okay, I liked from the original, the quote-unquote original three, if we look at actual lineage instead of how they, as far as storyline goes, instead of actual time of them coming out. Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City. Those three Banes were fucking outstanding because they showed muscle-bound guy who is, once he takes his stuff, he does lose a bit of control and he does become extremely powerful, but before he takes it and after he takes it, And before he takes it, and even when he does take it, sometimes he's still insanely intelligent. He knows all these fighting styles. He's a trained person. I love it. I fucking love it. Yeah, I mean, he's brilliant.
Should be noted when Stacy says takes it, he's talking about venom.
I apologize. Yes, thank you for clearing that up.
Whatever. The juice that turns him into a big muscle-bound dude.
You know what? I did a terrible job. I'm sorry. But yes, when he takes venom. And it's just, that was the best betrayal of Bane outside of the comic books and cartoon. Because cartoon was okay.
I don't think because I think he wasn't introduced in the cartoon until later, and I don't think I saw him in the animated series.
He was very good. I did enjoy him. I don't think it was the definitive Bane, but it was a very good Bane. You know, but. To move off of fucking Batman for 30 seconds here, I don't remember this. The octopus from The Spirit. I've never seen The Spirit.
Okay, so The Spirit came out around the same time as Sim City and some other movies.
Okay. Now you're starting to put the timing here a little bit better.
They were basically filmed at a time when people were trying to basically do entire movies on green screen. It was like a big thing. They were like, oh, we could potentially reduce the budget of our movie by a lot by just doing it all on green screen.
They're not doing that still?
Well, they are, but they're doing it better now. The problem at the time was kind of the same problem with The Matrix. It was new technology, and it kind of looked like crap. That's not the problem with The Spirit, though. The problem with The Spirit is it's a piece of crap. The Spirit is a classic 1940s or 30s comic strip about a guy in a trench coat with 245s that goes and fights crime. Which it was a common trope in the 30s and 40s. You got the Spirit, you got the Phantom, you got the Shadow. These characters all basically had the same, twin 45s and a trench coat, possibly a fedora.
Yeah, didn't Batman have he had his own made up version of that? I think it was called the Grey Ghost.
Yes, which was based on the Spirit because they couldn't get the rights to the Spirit for the animated series or
no way
for anything. So
that's
because
where the Grey Ghost came from?
Yes. And the Grey Ghost, if you ever watch the animated series with the episodes from the Grey Ghost, those are actually really in keeping with the Spirit. Basically, the Spirit is a guy who was thought to be dead, might actually be dead, and he goes and fights crime. That's it. The octopus is probably the worst Sam Jackson performance of all time.
He's had some stinkers, let's be blunt here, man.
He has, but this is possibly the worst, and it's also just the movie overall is terrible. And I agree that the octopus is a bad villain, but honestly, I don't think he deserves to be as high on the list as he is. I would put him lower on the list just because the movie itself was so awful. It's not even worth watching. I watched it because I like comic books and I wanted to see The Spirit, and I was like, oh, Frank Miller.
Here, I have the next one's gonna be your favorite because I remember you ranting about this one for close to an hour. Electro from the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I haven't seen the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
You were ranting about it for an hour straight.
But I have seen the scene with Electro. He does dubstep in the movie.
Yep, I know. I know.
He fires lightning to dubstep. What?
You gotta get down with the kids, yo.
I'm sorry, but yeah, Electro. I mean, you could make a case for the Rhino as well in the same movie, mostly because the Rhino was barely in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and everybody was like, "Oh man, the Rhino!" But yeah, it's not just that the Electro part of Electro was done the way it was done. It's that the character leading up to Electro was all of the worst I'm a nerd tropes and cliches combined with a character that was
kind of stalkerish.
Yeah, it was really badly, like, his whole character was just badly done. And then the dubstep thing was the final straw. Like, I watched that on YouTube because I was going to see the movie, but because CinemaSins, I think, I watched the CinemaSins of it, and they showed part of that scene, and I was like, no way, they didn't do that. That's just...
That movie has one of my most hated superhero movie moments, and that is, I don't know if you like you said, you haven't seen the movie.
I think you're going to talk about the same thing. I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead, Robbie. I want to see if it's the same thing I'm thinking.
There's a scene at the end, well, basically, spoilers, Gwen Stacy dies. There's a scene when she's falling, he fires his web at her, and the end of the fucking web curls into a little hand. And I was like, are you fucking joking? I was this close to leaving the fucking theater.
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the equivalent of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. It is that level of bad.
To me, you know what the worst part was to me? I'm amazed that you think the dubstep was the worst. To me, the worst part of the whole movie, Itsy Bitsy Spider. When he's bouncing him off the rod.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, that was awful.
That, to me, was the pinnacle of the shit of the movie. The web hand wasn't the shit. The dubstep, itsy bitsy fucking spider off of fucking poles was the absolute shit of the movie. How could you film this and go, yeah, this looks right, let's put this out?
Because executives are stupid and they get involved in art.
Hey, it's about spiders, right?
Can we keep making fun of Marvel for a minute?
I disagree with this, but go ahead.
Crossbones from Captain America: Civil War. I have not had the privilege of seeing this movie yet. Everybody told me how amazing Civil War was. I have not had the chance to see it. What's so bad about Crossbones?
He was barely in it. I don't know.
That's kind of my problem with them putting him on this list. Like, if they were to call this the top 10 and remove him from this list, based on the other ones in this list, I completely disagree. So here's the thing about Crossbones. Crossbones is a Marvel villain that's been around for, forever, but like most Marvel villains. He's like he's kind of a dumb-looking character in the comics, to be honest. He wears like a cloak, and he's got like a skull mask, and he uses a scythe, and I don't know what his big deal is. He's kind of, I've always seen him as low-rent Doctor Doom myself. Like, he's not even on the level of Doctor Doom, but he's always portrayed as being that level. Like, Ultron, like, I imagine when supervillains get together in the Marvel Universe, the big ones, Galactus, Doctor Doom, Magneto, Crossbones comes up to the club where they're hanging out, and he's denied entry.
Yeah.
Well, okay, go ahead.
I was just about to say, they may as well put Bartok. They may as well put Bartok the fucking Leaper on this list as well.
But here's my issue with them putting him on this list. He wasn't bad. He was just kind of there. Like,
that's the reason why they put him on the list.
He was the setup villain, which, in my opinion, fits the character. Like, I've never seen him as the kind of villain that you would expect to be anything more than a setup for something better.
Yeah.
And he fit that role perfectly in Civil War. Like, he was... did you see Winter Soldier?
Not yet. I'm going to be watching all of these. Even though I fucking hate Captain America with fire passion, I will be watching all of them.
I will say you don't have to see the first Captain America, even though I think it's much better. Okay, well, I think it's better than most people do, but that's my opinion. In Winter Soldier, you will meet this guy, and then they basically get rid of him in Civil War. And that's probably why they put him on this list, but in my opinion, that's why he was there. Like, it's not like Mr. Freeze or Electro, where he's supposed to be a main villain. So he doesn't deserve to be on this list, but I do agree he's kind of a worthless, meh villain.
Next up on the list, Dr. Hector Hammond from the Green Lantern.
Oh, God, that
guy. Look up, I'm sure you can find it after the stream, or maybe even now if you can mute it. Look up the screams of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his like the actor's name, but in that movie he does these hideous screams, and the actor is actually really good. Like, if you look at his IMDb, he's been in a lot of movies, and he usually does like really great roles. But it awful, just awful.
I'm wondering if it would have been better or worse in the movie if they'd portrayed him closer to his comic book counterpart, because even though he had like a pretty big head in the movie, in the comics, his head is literally the size of his body.
Jesus Christ.
Again, that is one of those things where I'm not sure if the movie-going audience is ready for it, or at least they weren't when that movie came out. Now, I think you could get away with it, because there's talk of possibly putting MODOK into a future Marvel movie. And I
would love that.
I think that based on the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy is well received, and they've done some really strange things in some of the other movies, I think you could have MODOK, which, if you don't know who MODOK is, he's basically a giant head with a kind of giant face in it, and arms and legs.
I love MODOK so much. I don't know why, I've just always loved him.
But yeah, I don't know too much about the Dr. Hector Hammond or Green Lantern character, but he was terrible.
Are you ready for the next one? Because you guys have to help me with this one, because I'm probably going to slaughter the name. Malekith the Cursed, Thor the Dark World. The Thor movie I never even knew was made until we started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody told me just wash over this movie because it's that bad and it's that forgettable.
Okay, it's not bad. There's actually a lot of good moments in it. This is I've talked about the Pixar effect before.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those movies that suffers from the Pixar/MCU effect, where most of the movies are so good that when one doesn't live up to those standards, people go, "Oh, it's so bad." It's not. It's well put together. It has some great Thor and Loki moments. It's just kind of forgettable when you compare it to movies like The Avengers, Civil War, Thor Ragnarok, and the other extremely good ones.
Yeah.
And,
by the way, Stacey, this is the character who was played by Christopher Eccleston.
Why do I know that name?
He was the first Doctor Who. He was the first remake Doctor Who.
No way, this is him?
And he was also the villain in Gone in 60 Seconds. He's a really good actor. And
now I actually want to see it.
He didn't do a bad job in the role either. It's just the character and the role itself, kind of forgettable. As a main villain, I agree that he deserves to be on this list because he was so meh overall that he's not the like a lot of the times in a movie, the villain is the draw in a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Joker is why you watch the original Batman.
Oh yeah.
I would argue that the Joker is the reason you watch The Dark Knight.
That's the exact reason I decided to watch it, because I was like, well, besides Batman, going, fuck me, Joker?
Well,
really?
Sure. But this character is so uninteresting on every level that I feel sorry for Eccleston for having done the role, because he's one of those Marvel villains that is like even Ronan the Accuser had more screen presence with his hammy way of acting, and it kind of fit. That's Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy with the hammer.
Okay.
But this character he's so forgettable that you're like, oh yeah, that one. Like you don't even remember his name after you've seen the movie. You're like, oh man, Thor: Dark World had some good moments. There was a villain, right?
Sorry, I had to look something up there.
It's one of those things where I would have preferred if they'd gone with another villain, and the villain I would have liked them to go with is the Enchantress.
Yes! Oh my word, yes! They even brought the Enchantress into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she was played by a good actress, and it was a great moment. Sif was there. It was such a great episode, and all I could think was, oh man, this would be great if they brought the Enchantress into Thor, and then they just never did, because they don't want to cross the streams anymore.
Yeah. They brought Scourge into the third movie, though.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he was kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at this list, and I'm seeing the next one, and I had no idea about a little bit of trivia I saw in this description. It's Whiplash from Iron Man 2. Apparently, the movie started shooting without a finished script. I had no idea.
I would believe it.
I mean, the movie was shit, yeah, but I didn't think it was that bad. Like, why the fuck would you start?
It was not shit. There's a lot of again, it's one of those cases where there's a lot of great moments in the movie. It's just
Quiplash ruined Quiplash. Good job, Steve. Whiplash ruined the movie for me.
I would agree with that. I think that as a villain, yes, he is an Iron Man villain, but there's like a lot of Iron Man villains they could have chosen from.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with the movie as a whole was that it was just another. The first movie was Iron Man versus bigger Iron Man. The second movie was Iron Man versus lots of Iron Men.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, which is why I'm actually one of the few people that actually really enjoyed Iron Man 3, because it was technology versus biology. And I was like, I kind of like that. I agree that what they did with the Mandarin, it was kind of a travesty, but keep in mind, it could have been that he wasn't really the Mandarin, and we could still get the real Mandarin later, but that's a whole fan theory, hope, wish thing. But yeah, Whiplash as a whole was kind of a lame character, because he uses whips. Just step about 20 feet away from him and blast him.
I don't disagree. I also the part where, to me, it was stupid on the behalf of Tony Stark, but it also really went with his role of going, hey, if you would have done this, you could have killed me. If you would have changed it to this frequency with your
right, he's an egotist.
Exactly, but at the same time, it's like even Tony Stark, you don't think would have been that fucking stupid. And the fact that they got him out and everything that happened with this guy just led up to being a dumb-ass villain.
To be fair, Tony Stark in the third one gave his home address to terrorists, so I'm just saying, which maybe wasn't unrealistic, because let's face it, everybody probably knew where Tony Stark lived. I mean, he had that gigantic mansion on the side of a cliff or whatever. Yeah. But that being said, Whiplash to me, the two things that struck me as kind of dumb about him, even though I did actually like Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, I thought he did an okay job. The main part was that you just take a couple steps back. Now he can't reach you with his whips that have a limited range.
Right.
The other big problem was the end of him was really dumb. He didn't even have a big fight scene. Like in the fight scene at the race, which is the picture they've got on this website, that made sense that it was over pretty quickly. The worst part, though, is that fight scene lasted longer than the fight scene at the end.
Okay. Also, here's my thing about this, okay? There's a lot of complaints I have about this fucker. Okay, let's see. He's standing in the middle of the raceway with his electric whips, right? In the background of this area, you can see fucking military people standing there. How many armed guards do you think were on this premises of this fucking world broadcasted race? And he's just standing there waiting for this race car to show up. And not a single person thought, hey, I'm going to take a shot at him. Not a single one. I mean...
Not a single one.
And it took him how long of just standing there with his electrified whips? Like, come on, Tony, let's go. Of just standing there. I mean, what the fuck is this shit? It's just so dumb. And the fact that Mickey Rourke is just so boring in the role. I mean, I'm sure Whiplash, I never bothered reading up on Whiplash. I'm guilty of not knowing this character. But looking at the character design, it was boring. Looking at how he played the character was boring. Everything about this character was boring to me.
Again, you have to consider that, like you said, apparently the script wasn't even finished when they were filming it. And also, as a villain, he was lame. Now, I will say this much, though. I think Whiplash... Now, I don't know if this is actually ranked, like if the first person is the least horrible, but I don't think Whiplash deserves to be as far down on the list. Malekith, yeah, probably, but I think Whiplash as a villain was at the very least memorable. Like you remember that it was Whiplash in Iron Man 2.
True, I'll give you that. This last one on the list, I've never watched this movie, but this, just looking at the picture makes me go, what the fuck is wrong with them? Nuclear Man from Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Oh, God.
I love that immediately as soon as I said the name. He was like, Jesus Christ. I'm going to just read this paragraph, okay? And I'm going to see how you guys respond. It's hard to think of a worse supervillain in a worse superhero movie. Christopher Reeve's woeful final outing as the Man of Steel was hindered by a hugely reduced budget and a horrible script, but worst of all was the bad guy. Played by the long-forgotten Mark Pillow. I have no idea who that is. Nuclear Man... What's it?
Nobody does.
Well, enough said, I guess, really. Nuclear Man looked like a reject from the 80s hair metal music videos. Yeah. And a voice lazily by an overdubbed Gene Hackman. Why do I remember that name?
He was Lex Luthor, and he was... I mean, Gene Hackman is a great actor. He's like Oscar nominated, possibly winning. I don't know.
But this lumbering goon is laughably hamstrung by the fact that he needs the light of the sun to supply his powers. Solution, stay inside. Yeah?
Okay,
yeah?
So the Christopher Reeves Superman movies were a mixed bag. Partly because the people that were making them really didn't give a crap about the comics. All they wanted to do was make this superhero movie. So the first movie, we got him spinning around the earth so fast that time goes backwards. And for the record, he wasn't spinning the world backwards. He was spinning time backwards, and it made the world look like it was going backwards. That's my only gripe about how people perceive that scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very clear scene anyway. Outside of that, though, most of what they did with Superman was pretty comic book accurate, laser vision, super breath, all of that. jazz. Loved Lois Lane, constantly saving her, blah, blah, blah. Christopher Reeves, great job as Superman. Really nailed the Boy Scout version. Like people say that the sunglasses, that the glasses thing is a stupid trope and should never be used again. But you watch the difference between Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent and Christopher Reeve as Superman in the original Superman movie, and you'll be like, yeah, I can see why nobody can get it. Like, he does a good job. That being said, the second movie, maybe not so great. Made fun of for the line "Kneel before Zod." What's that actor's name, Robbie? I'm sure you know that played Zod.
Oh God, Christ, I don't remember.
I can't remember his name. He's like a pretty famous actor too. He's done a lot of different roles since. Anyway, point being, they had a scene where he literally throws a cellophane S at a villain.
Wait, what?
And Family Guy even makes fun of it. You can probably find the YouTube clip of it, where after he throws the cellophane S in the Family Guy clip, the Zod character goes, "Oh, that was mildly annoying." Like, it does nothing, and it doesn't even make sense, and they attributed him mind-wiping powers when he kisses Lois Lane. They gave him teleporting abilities, which I can only justify that he was moving so fast we couldn't see him, but it was legitimately teleporting, like in the movie. They did some horrible things. Then we got Superman 3 with Richard Pryor. Now, Richard Pryor makes that movie. It is so good. I mean, he's just being Richard Pryor. But the movie's awful. It has him fighting what was supposed to be Brainiac, but I don't know why they didn't do Brainiac, turned into this weird, horrible shrew of a woman who gets sucked into a computer, then becomes a computer, and it's just awful. So by the time we get to Superman 4, the series has already gone way downhill. Superman 4, the villain, was created by Lex Luthor by taking a piece of hair from a display that was, like, so comically bad looking, it was awful. Like, it was, Superman's hair is holding up like a weight. Like, and it's like a cartoon looking weight with 10,000 pounds written on it, just like a cartoon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And he uses, like, bolt cutters to clip the hair off. Ha ha ha, because Superman's hair is so strong. Ha ha ha. And then he creates Nuclear Man. And it just basically, like, he scratches Superman at one point and infects him with, like, nuclear blood or whatever, and I don't remember a lot of it. All I do remember is that they fought on the moon, and Superman apparently doesn't need to breathe, and...
Wasn't this the same Superman that flew into the sun at one point in time? But he can get infected by nuclear blood?
I don't think he ever flew into the sun, but it was just stupid. It was supposed to be like a guy that's so strong that he can defeat Superman. Oh, because he's made from Superman. And the biggest problem with it was he wasn't like, okay, so Superman gets his powers from the sun, right? Mm-hmm. And every once in a while in one of these movies or even comic books, they show him kind of being depowered by something horrible. Like maybe in one, he was struck by a nuclear weapon and the sun was so blotted out and there was so much radiation that he kind of weakened and he was like, oh my word, I'm so weak. And he had to get out of the mushroom cloud area and like get the rays of the sun back on him, blah, blah, blah. But even with kryptonite, Superman doesn't just shut down. He just kind of gets sick.
Yeah.
And he gets weak. When the sun is off of Nuclear Man, he literally shuts down like a robot.
Oh,
like he goes from being kill Superman to the sun is off of him, and he goes his eyes close, his head droops, and he just stands there like he's a robot. Now, let's think about this for a moment. If you're Superman, you have just seen this.
Mm-hmm.
Superman isn't a dumb guy. He's an investigative reporter. He can put two and two together. Why don't you just seal him in a box and bury him somewhere real deep? You're Superman. You can go probably to the core of the Earth.
Yeah.
So instead what he does is, when he's been depowered in an elevator, because the elevator door's shut and it's all dark, and so he doesn't have the solar power, Superman tosses the elevator to the moon, where the sun then gets through the cracks in the door, and then he repowers and bursts out and goes. It's just such a bad movie.
Jesus Christ. Well, I feel well cemented in the fact that we've got to deal with the 11, well, okay, your guys, I guess in Casual's choice of the 9 worst characters ever.
No, 10. Well, 10. I agreed with Malekith.
What
and
about,
Whiplash.
Okay, in that case, 10 worst ones. Guys, we got to cut this off. We've already been going for close to 2 hours now. It doesn't even feel like it, does it?
We're really bad at doing short episodes.
Right, dude? We were like, well, Rad's not here, neither are Quantum. We should probably do a shorter show today just so we don't... Oh, wait.
I think the problem is when we say let's do a short one, that's where the problem arises.
But it always turns out to be one of our best shows when we go on forever, huh? Either way, guys.
I suppose we'll have to leave that up to the audience listening.
In every comment, you guys suck! Okay.
Our greatest show ever will be when it actually does go on forever and it never gets uploaded.
Watch. Fucking watch. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I've been Stacy Kruger. Who have you boys been?
I've been Robbie.
And I've been Casually Challenged. Thank you for listening.
We love each one of you guys. Don't forget to to download this, like it, share it with everyone you know. Spread out the word of the Odd Pod. Help us infect the world, just like Agent Smith turned into a virus and infected the world of the Matrix.
Don't forget the best way to take us is as a suppository.
God damn it. We love you guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.